Okay, so I'm not sure if you remember this when we first met. We were being introduced by our mutual friend Janie, and then we in this cafe in the temple, how hipster.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what was the introduction when Janie introduced me.
I think Jenny was telling me about you. Say this guy is interesting. You should talk to him and check him out. He was doing a video series about interesting people.
What was your first impression after looking through stuff online? Because then you met me.
I thought it was interesting because I know one of the people that you. I know several people initially. I know Fakafas.
Okay.
Because we
did an interview with him as well.
interview, and also we in the same comedy circles. Yeah, and then I think Kelvin, was he up there by then or something like that?
Yeah, I think
Kelvin was up by then.
Oh yeah, then also I think there's also Dr. Loretta Chen.
So I got the crab. Just
I think you got the cream of the crop, and then you still getting more cream from that crop.
and then we met at the cafe temple. What were your parting thoughts of me when you left the meeting?
Interesting fella, a bit of a weirdo. It's like weirdo in a sense that I'm not sure why you. I think from what I get from Jenny, you wanted to interview somebody, so that's why she said you should talk to me. So I was just like, that's why. There's no. I don't really have a high opinion of myself, so I don't understand why you should interview someone like me.
Yeah, and yet we're here.
Yeah, I know.
And you were almost at the genesis of the series, man. And also, I guess during then, I showed you a lot of questions.
Yeah. You plan to
It was Daniel Wong, I think.
Yeah, you fielded me a lot of questions about questioning people. So I'm glad I'm able to help.
Yeah, and it's great help, by the way.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Great help. I mean, that's why I'm here still today, right? I hope. And then, when we meet the second time, which is like before, at the same place, in the temple, at the cafe.
Yeah.
that place. I think you mentioned something which I want to explore a little bit into, which is sort of this whole, that you say that, like, MISFITS, or I'm selling MISFITS short. Like, if you could just, what do you mean by that?
Sell it short.
Yeah.
What was the context of the conversation?
I think firstly, I'm trying to convince you to get on an interview, and then you say I could do so much more with MISFITS, and then not.
Oh, I think in terms of subjects, as in I think when you wanted to interview me, I was kind of dismissive because, like I said, as I mentioned, I don't really have a high opinion of who I am or what I do. Actually, you could do so much better. Seriously.
So what have I said? Or how about a different question, which is like, why are you here today, then?
Why am I here today? I don't know, man. I guess you are tenacious and you wore me down.
I won't do that.
Yeah.
I guess that's a compliment.
Yeah, but I also need to get permission whether I could do this.
Yeah.
Given the nature of my job, and I was given a go ahead, so fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoo,
Oh, Zoo, who is my...
I met Zoo before.
You met Zoo before, yeah?
Yeah.
Zoo, who is my editor-in-chief at Esquire. He said, it's fine.
So he didn't even
Basically, he just...
send me some things before I say yes.
No, but I think it's just out of respect that he just asked someone, because it's still under the purview of the company that I'm working for. So he gave the okay, and so be it.
For sure.
So we need thanks to this guy.
End of the credits to be a special thanks to Zoo.
And before I continue, and as you always like to put it, so this is more a conversation and a discussion than an interview. Which also means you have free reign to ask me any question that you're interested in. Cool. So
when is this going to end?
Whenever you have your interest ends in me, which I'm quite a boring person. Actually, I just really want to quickly dive into interviews. Not that I've not asked you enough questions. I feel that you have so much more to share in this topic, especially after years of experience, like, so when it comes to your process of preparation for your interviews, how does it look like? What does the process look like, and how long does it take?
So when it comes to subjects or the person of interest, you do your research. So you trawl the internet or you trawl whatever print medium that a person has been in, just to see what has been covered on said individual. You just do your legwork, find out the background. But I will usually go through all the interviews that the person has been through, so that I can formulate a set of questions that has not been asked before. Because I guess it'd be kind of boring for the interviewee to answer. And also because if I'm able to find information of the interview, why am I repeating it again? So you try to find a new angle, a new way, something that has not been covered. So basically you do your research of that.
How long does this whole process?
It depends. It depends on who the person is. Like the ones it ranges. It depends. It ranges from maybe an hour to a day.
Okay. No, I'm just comparing it to my own research process and see if there is actually anything I can make better. Yeah. And what I do is that, like what you do as well, like throw the internet and sort of create a timeline of that individual. And with that timeline comes in different categories, where there's sort of school you went to, sort of accolades and achievement, and also potential failures. That he went project that didn't went through, or those are the stuff that I find interesting, right? And then that sort of forms sort of the idea to know that person a bit more, and then after that, just throwing out a ton of questions along the process, and then I go through a process of grouping in topics, and then arrangement of questions. I don't know.
Holy crap, that's much more meticulous than what I do. For me, after I do my research and then after I draft out my key points, it depends on what kind of interview I'm also conducting as well, right? So,
if it's like a feature piece, though.
Okay, if it's like a feature piece, I would start with softball questions, right? Because you in a sense, I feel it's like a game of catch. Mm-hmm. You got to lull them into a false sense of security. So you got the easy questions coming out. So it's like packed questions, if that makes sense. So once they warm up, then after that, you just throw them a few curveballs their way. You jump around. So my interview sometimes doesn't really follow a linear sense of questioning.
And I guess those questions that you come out, so you don't actually structure them like chronologically.
I'll structure them in very rough order. Okay. And then I'll leave space, like important questions would be near the top, right? So and then time permitting, then the rest of the questions, if we just want to know like his favorite color, what's his favorite food, stuff like that, fillers. And then during the interview, if the guy happens to say something like, I met Mrs. Kerr during my school formative years, and for you, it'd be like, there's a follow-up, who's Mrs. Kerr, right? Why is she to you, and stuff like that. So there's always follow-up questions that's tangent to his answers. Mm. Yeah, so it won't be on the list of questions that you have. So you have to be really, adaptive.
Yeah. And I guess listening is a big part of the process as well.
Listening and also just being like curious. Yeah. You just have to be curious. And I mean, if you go to something that go to an interview and you have no interest in a person whatsoever, it's not going to work. I mean, the story will come out, but it won't be. I mean, I'm interested in what you have to do, so I ask you questions that pertains to my curiosity, that piques my curiosity. If I'm interested in what you have to do, my readers will be also as interested in what you have to do.
Yeah, that's a pretty good frame of reference, and I do the same. All my interviewees are people that I'm interested in, because I don't, at least now, not want anybody out of it. So every time I do interviews, it's an expense of my money and time and plus editing. And that's all me, right?
You need to find sponsors, right?
People have been suggesting Milo to put a cup of Milo up here.
Yeah, Milo. Think about it.
Nestle. Yeah, no, actually, that's something that I'm working on. And what are some common mistakes when it comes to crafting questions for interview?
As mentioned before, coming up with repetitive questions that can be easily found on the internet. I think you also have to think in terms of the readers and also in terms of the interviewee. For the interviewee, you got to make it new, refreshing, interesting, because they tend to give pat answers to pat questions. So it's basically just as a consideration for them. And also for your readers. I don't think readers are... No, readers are not dumb. Readers are not dumb. They come in with a modicum of intellect and they're looking at stuff. So sometimes when they have if they have questions at the end of the interview, then it's not really a well thought out or written interview. Does make sense? So basically, so you just have to cover all bases. As a reader, what am I interested in? So maybe I'm interested in how, like for example, this talk show, how is it being monetized, or what's the reach, what's your plan for this, so on and so forth. So you ask questions that the readers will be interested in, and that also ties back in with your own interests. If you have the
overlapping interests.
Yeah. So if you have interest in that subject, you'll be asking questions, the same questions as what your readers who are also interested in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? So basically that. I think also about the stringency of the list of questions.
Okay.
I see some people come up with like set questions, right? Okay, I'll go answer them this, and then they don't adapt to new questions or follow-up questions. The thing will always change, right? Depending on what kind of interview you have. It's not really a straight line, right? But you want to get to the crux of the matter and what's important. But some people they don't really they don't improvise. They don't go with the flow. So that's why those are some of the common mistakes when it comes to crafting questions.
And when it comes even to follow up, is it when do you throw out a follow up question? Because there's when do you and how do you craft that follow up? Is it because of the intent of the question? Then you craft follow up based on the intent?
No, it can be intent as well, but basically the follow-up questions will be something that the person will have answered, and then but you're still unsure of what he meant by this, right? So let's say if you ask, for example, if you ask Courtney Love whether she killed Kurt Cobain, and she said, "No, I didn't kill Kurt Cobain. I have thoughts about killing Kurt Cobain, but I never killed Kurt Cobain." The follow-up will be, "Oh, do you harbor thoughts about killing Kurt Cobain?" Right? So that's a follow-up to her answer. And not you just go on with the next question. It's like, so how much royalty you receive from Nirvana? No, you go back to the one, because as a reader, I'm interested to know, what do you mean by harbor thoughts about killing Kurt Cobain, right? So you got to be really aware about what the situation is, instead of just relying on the questions. So that's what I mean
that's
by
a really good follow-up.
Yeah, and there's a terrible example. God, that's Kurt Cobain.
No, but it's an interesting question, I guess. Yeah, you shouldn't let that go. Your opportunity is only that. You only can probably do that interview one time.
Yeah, it's just to follow up and also just to clarify in case you do not understand what he means by certain things. That's it.
And I guess then how would you deal with people who are not giving anything? Because I mean, that question could come as a very wow, I'm stepping back 10 steps, right?
Yeah. Like if you have to deal with like celebrities, they sometimes will be a bit guarded with their own personal lives, and it's understandable. Especially if you're dealing with people from MediaCorp, they tend to be more reserved in terms of, because they got their minders, the managers also in the same room, I assume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's hard.
So it's kind of hard. So they want to keep to a certain line of questioning. Sometimes people won't give up the goods, right? So you just have to go with it, and hopefully you see the opening, and then you just take it. I'm sorry, what?
So the question was like,
If they were not to be giving you stuff, is there any thing that you do that?
Man, I think it's just verbal. I think it's just an interview jousting, or just sparring, right? So basically, you just ask the question. Hopefully, they'll give you an opening. So you try a different line of questioning.
oh, okay.
So you can't. Okay. For example, if
So let's go with the same example.
Okay.
Do you have Harvard Talk? Or
No. Let's say if Courtney Love, I'm interviewing Courtney Love, right? And then the question I want to ask her is like, so did you kill Kurt Cobain?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the question. But I know that if I go directly to ask her about killing Kurt Cobain, she will clamp up. She say, no, I did not, something like that. So you got to ask it in a roundabout way.
Okay,
That's still so you ask her like, what do you think about death and dying? Okay, so you lead with the question. So you talk about death and dying. So the follow-up question is like, oh yeah, do you feel remorse when it comes to like death of individuals? And then after that, you try to like corral the question to the subject.
And do you do it
Before the interview, as in like do the roundabout thing before, while crafting the questions, or do you do it like on the go, which I think is very hard to do?
Basically, you just have to be on your toes when it comes. During an interview, you just got to be on your toes, right? So you ask the questions on your list in your mind, and then you realize you're not getting anything from the list, then you try to find some avenue of attack.
Also, you don't create the
Avenue first before the
wall.
I think it'd be great to actually create like alternate questions. But I'm not that smart, so usually I would just.
But that's interesting to think of it that way.
Yeah. So basically, if I'm not getting anything, I say, okay, don't worry. Let's just get through the questions, and then maybe ask alternate questions, just to get back to it again.
And do you have any favorite questions or questions that you frequently use for interviews?
Maybe the off-kilter questions. Like off-kilter questions be those questions where you disarm your interviewee.
Tell me some of that.
Well, basically, just necessarily going through something. You ask someone about their business plans, right? So the guys down here say, okay, I'm going to talk about my business. Okay, talk about business. And then in the middle of it, you throw them a curveball, which is this what's your greatest fear? Right? So it's like greatest fear, it could be anything, right? So it's like, they'll sometimes ask like, oh, do you mean like personal thing, or something that's big, or something that's tangible, something that's abstract? And then you just say, oh, it could be anything. So it forces them to actually just think about the question, right? So it's not something they're not familiar with. No, it's something that they haven't been asked before. So they will think about it, and that usually just breaks down whatever barrier they have. So they will and sometimes the answers can be illuminating.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and it could be useful. The answers could be useful, but I feel it helps keep things on their toes.
So what's the greatest fear?
What's the greatest fear? Usually that's a big
That's big.
Basically, it's metaphysical questions about life. Something to just have them consider their place in the world, I guess. Yeah. That's
Do you believe in God?
Oh, if you want to go there, yeah. Some people that might be a bit skittish, or usually I just ask them like, so do you have any belief? What do you think happens to us when we die, kind of thing, so stuff like that.
It's pretty like abstract.
What's that called? What's the term of that?
tutor question.
Tutor.
Yeah.
And it means basically that.
No,
that topic.
Yeah, it's just my dumb terms. Basically, it's just like questions that's not that's off the beaten path.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And many, actually, some feedback that many folks that you have interviewed before seems to be really comfortable with you.
Feedbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually,
Well, of course.
you actually asked these people?
So, like...
What's your approach when it comes to like building rapport? I think you mentioned a little bit before, which is like the first warming up thing, but maybe let's go into more details on that.
For me, I think the best interviews are the ones that are not interviews, right? There's basically just conversations. They're kind of interaction that you have with a friend late in the night over drinks or food, whatever it is. There's no agenda, you're just talking, and that's it.
But truth is that it is.
But it is, yes. But if you...
So you make it feel like that it's not.
For example, right, you have a tape recorder right now.
Yeah.
It's recording, and I'm aware that camera's around. So for me, I'm always...
Thanks.
Not angst. I'm always hyper aware that I'm being filmed.
Okay.
And I'm being recorded.
24/7 anyway. The MRT is all recording you.
Yeah, but they're pretty subtle about it.
Okay, true.
Right. So so for me, I can just behave like a buffoon, and it can capture on
You can still
TV.
behave as a buffoon.
Yeah.
Because,
See, but I won't.
No, but the truth is you have the final edits.
So
True,
so
but
you
I'm not
can
going.
cut
I'm
anything.
still not going to take that chance.
Okay, fair enough.
It's basically just like people are so aware of themselves if they see like recording devices. So sometimes I still use recording devices, but I put them out of the way. Or if I bring out a notepad and a pen, people know that this guy's.
So you don't bring up notepad. Wow.
Sometimes I do just to give the veneer of professionalism.
Oh, okay.
They have to know like, this guy, because some of them would like to know that this is an interview and not just me being. I due to body language, I can just like, okay, he wants to see something that, this guy knows what he's doing.
Okay.
And after that, I put it away sometimes, or I just go into conversations. But like I said, interviews are best conducted when it's just a conversation.
And so how do you achieve that, I guess, with all the recording devices that is there?
Man, you just gotta be personable. I mean, there are questions, but after that, you just have to talk to them. I mean, you talk to them about the outfit, just asking, I really like the shoes. You have to establish some sort of a common ground.
I really like the jacket.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
No follow-up. You want to know where is it from?
This is Japan?
It is from Japan.
No,
correct.
really? Where about?
Sasquatch Fabrics collaboration with Supreme.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's cool. This is got it in Tokyo?
No, I got it a long time ago. See, so now you're creating his rapport, right? So now people will be like, he's just asking me, things. He likes what I have, and then maybe I can tell.
Like
it's no, I got it secondhand.
Oh shit! Is there a secondhand flea market thing?
Yeah, they do. Japan, they do have secondhand flea market.
Okay, I will definitely come back on that because we can have a topic about Japan.
Oh really? Okay.
That's random. Because I'm going there in May, so I told you that, right?
Yeah, you did. For your first time, right?
Yeah, first time. It's a no plan, and just fly in and out of Tokyo. And okay, so what goes behind the process of the interview, like the interview? Do you get a chance to scout the place or the setting at all?
It depends on what I am writing.
Yeah.
So the best scenario would be like I like to add color to the story. Okay, so when I'm writing an article about a person, I like to paint the picture, right? It kind of just be me doing Q&A and then it's back and forth kind of thing. It has to be something that will engage the reader into the world of this subject, right? So best case scenario, I will ask the manager or the interviewee, say, hey, what do you like to do? Let's just go do it.
Oh.
Yeah, and let's go. We can take a walk in the botanical garden, or we can go dog walking, or we can we can do this, we can do that, right? That helps create the color for your piece. Right.
They say like, wait, let's go skydiving.
Yeah, sure. Let's go skydiving. because you want to see the person in their element, right? If they want to go skydiving, you want to see, so you can actually write about, is a person nervous?
You gonna go skydiving?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I will go with them because it's part of the story.
Cool.
You want to eat fugu? Oh, let's go eat fugu together. First time eating fugu? Okay, so you just write about what's the reaction to fugu? Why do they want to eat fugu? So then after that you establish, because once you do something together, you have the common ground. You already establish a common ground, right? So you have that person on your side.
And usually you have like a day, like what's the timeline with them?
Okay, so like I said, that's the best case scenario.
Oh, okay.
That's the best case scenario, but more often than not, you don't have that time, kind of time with the interviewees because they're busy people, and that's fine. And we only so much budget.
Oh, that's true.
Right. So.
Also, if I were to go,
If the interviewee were to go skydiving, then Esquire.
Oh, it depends. Are you famous?
Okay.
Is this
also
story?
the budget correlates with the famousness?
Not exactly. It also depends on like, would this guy make a good piece in a story?
Okay.
So there's a lot of consideration. But like I said, best case scenario, right? If I don't have that,
What's the plan B?
usually I will get an hour with them, 1 hour. So it can be which is not my favorite, but usually over food or drinks. But food is still a great disarmer, right? Because no one's going to be prim and proper while they eat.
Right, that's true.
It's all review your vulnerability when you
fine dining.
Yeah, fine dining you could, but then again, I can't really afford your fine dining. So we have like over tea or drinks, and we have finger food, stuff like that. Yeah. So I find, and plus it also harkens back to talking over food.
How has your interview style changed from when you first started to now?
Yes, there will always be an evolution in how you do things, as is with life.
What changed?
I guess I'm less nervous. So there's always this power play between you and the interviewee, especially if they are really high up the celebrity food chain. But you have to hold your ground, right? You got to be in charge of this because you are writing the story about them. So you're doing your damnness to actually have control over the entire thing. So you can't let them see you sweat.
What?
Don't let them see you sweat.
Okay.
Yeah, just be in control. So I think throughout the years of interviewing people and different kind of people from different walks of life, I just managed to be like,
What are some situations that you are sweating, like before or now?
Usually it's just something physical, like cause and effect, right? If it's hot weather, then I sweat. Okay, and that doesn't really paint a good picture. It makes me look vulnerable in front of the person, which I don't like.
Just actually sweating.
Yeah, just actually sweating. So it makes me, so I don't like, so that there's a power shift.
Oh.
So now because I'm the one who's like, I'm so sorry for sweating in your presence kind of thing. And the other person is cool and calm as a cucumber. So it's a power struggle.
Maybe because my interview, I guess, is not like a big famous thing. So there isn't a lot of power at play, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, and also punctuality.
Oh, yeah.
If you're late,
You're there.
if you're on time, you have the upper hand, right? Because now the person is beholden to you for being late. So that's good. That's good. Yeah. So as an interview, I've been late twice in my entire career, and that was not very good. That was not a very good feeling to have, because now you feel like they have the upper hand, they come in sheepishly, and then you go feel them questions. Yeah. So be early, be on time. Yeah.
So you were and what about like the style of interviewing them? Is it any different?
Maybe I become more animated or more just becoming. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I can have a poker face. I can just talk to people and they don't know what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But if I have to show interest. If I show interest in what you're saying, right, they feel compelled to give me more things. So for me, I just lean forward. But these are all just natural things that you come to accumulate throughout the years. So you lean forward. It's a lot of body language as well. It's just to show that you're not guarded. So you see people folding at their arms or they're leaning back, or if there's a table in between you, right? So you have to breach it, right? So you gotta lean forward, maybe share food or something like that, or just stuff like that, just to get them on to your side.
And how did you derive your sort of interview style? I mean, no one really teach before. I don't know if it's in school, but at least for me, no one really teach me how to interview.
In journalism school, they would teach you like
like what you're telling me right now, like lean in.
That's not really. All this, most of the things I'm telling you today is just things that I learn on my own, or just pick up, or it seems like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you employ this into your interview as a technique?
How did you pick it up? Like, where, who?
I think just conversations, just talking to people, and then you pick up things along the way. You start to. For me, I like to break down what's happening, things, right? So like, why is this thing working? Why is this thing not working? So I'm very analytical.
What are some of the things that work for you?
Work for me?
Yeah. The biggest sort of like 80-20, you can just give 3 things for a person to,
for me, it's usually humor, self-deprecation, right? Self-deprecation. Even though you're the interviewer, you make fun of yourself.
Like, I'm so stupid.
No. I mean, not to the point where someone says, there's a way to do that. If you keep saying, "Oh, I'm so stupid," then that informs the interviewee that, "Oh my God, this guy has really low self-esteem. Can he do this thing? Okay. Are you allowed to be outside?" Kind of thing, right? Yeah. So you got to be like, maybe I say, "Oh, that's really nice shoes, man. I mean, I like this old junk. I mean, this is." Kind of thing. So basically, you lower yourself in the eyes of the interviewee, but in a sense, you have a sense of control because you're making fun of yourself, not the other person making fun of you.
I mean, they say this about comedians as well. Like, if you have like a long nose or whatever, you just need to make a joke out of that, then so you can get on with the interview.
Exactly.
Exactly. So you steal the thunder away from any potential hecklers and whatnot. Just get that away. And plus, when you make fun of yourself, it also in a way shows how confident you are about your flaws or your follies.
So, okay, self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, for me that works. So I try to be self-deprecating and have a sense of humor about things, right? So sometimes when someone says something, you just give a quip. And then it's like, oh yeah, then you laugh, you break the tension, and then you continue with it. So I think that kind of helps.
Are there any interviews that jump to mind, as an interview that you're really proud
of? The SMRT one was quite memorable. The fact that it's like one of those big things. I mean, for me, because you're interviewing somebody whose identity hasn't been known to the rest of the populace, and it's very cloak and daggerish during that time. So I think, I could be wrong, but I think he changed location like twice before we actually meet up, and he was using a burner phone, was communicating on a separate phone and whatnot. So that was interesting because it was a situation that I wasn't in before. And then there are other interviews where I got something that aspect of humanity or an angle of the subject that no one has ever gotten. So that was really awesome. I interviewed, what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. And that was just because I really like him. As a fanboy to his work and what he does. But you also got to be, professional about it, right?
Yeah.
Plus, he also, given his intellect, you also want to challenge him on it. So he asked questions, that would stimulate his mind. So that was nice. That was nice. I think Ong Xuan, interviewed her twice, and I think the first interview they became friends after that. So that was nice. I like interviews where at the end of it, you still keep in contact.
What are some common characteristics of all these interviews? It seems like something new that had not been done, or you guys became like pals after that.
I don't think anyone who are being interviewed, they want their story to be misrepresented. Yeah. I mean that would suck, right? I mean, let's say after
this, you do give them sort of like the first draft or whatever.
Sometimes as a form of goodwill. Most of the time we don't.
Okay.
And sometimes it's just for accuracy. If I during the just fact checking, say, wait, is this right? Does it mean this way? So I just like, could you check to see if this line, what you say is what you mean about this issue or not? So basically, it's just that. But usually we don't hand final drafts to unless the management requires it or they ask for it.
So you sign before the thing.
Again, it's a form of goodwill, right? You can't just say, you can't be a dick about it and just say, no, I'm a journalist, I'm gonna write stuff about you, bro.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, no one wants to be misrepresented, right? And I don't want to say stuff, and after I just tell my friends, oh, the guy is a bit of a racist. Like, what? Why is he a racist? I don't know. Says he's going to Japan and he thinks Japan is some sort of exotic place.
It is.
Like fetishism kind of thing. So stuff like that.
Yeah. And I just want to dig in a little bit more because, I mean, you interview a lot of people, especially from industry such as, this is really going to be bad for me, but art, fashion, where there's a lot of jargons, there's a lot of airy words, there's a lot of being thrown around, And how do you then, like deal with this kind of interviews that I'm not sure, like, where it's just like, I'm not getting anything, like, what are you talking about, or?
That comes down to your research, alright. So it also depends on your, how invested are you in what they do, right? So let's say you're talking about fashion and they come up with jargons and whatnot. It is not. There is no shame in actually asking what do they mean, right? Because you're a journalist, you're supposed to find out what do they mean. So if some guy talks about like the weft of a shirt, you say, I'm sorry, what do you mean by weft? Oh, I mean this. Now, of course, the person might think that, oh, this guy came in and he has no knowledge or background, but or you can just hold on to that knowledge and then ask it. Or find out for yourself later on, like what a weft is. I don't know. It's tricky. You don't want to look like you don't want to look ignorant. But I feel that at some point where you're able to establish some sort of rapport, you're able to ask questions like this. But that's
But what if it's not?
It's not your fault. That means like they are being tough.
Oh, they're being tough. Then. If they're being tough on purpose and they know it, then, but you still have to show a sense of professionalism, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really, like say, don't let them see you sweat. I don't want to give you the satisfaction that you got me.
Yeah.
No.
And did you manage to actually, any situation where you turn it around?
Turn it around? Maybe, I guess, but I don't know. Too many, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, man. Can you turn this around?
No, I think this is a tough question to ask as well. As far as my repertoire of tools and tricks to use is to firstly know the line of them being a dick or no, and you gotta, which I'm still trying my best to be better at the skill. Is to call them out intellectually about them being a dick. But that is a skill that I've yet to master. So once you hit the nail, I mean, it depends then again on the viewing, right? Then okay, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. Then you're like, okay, now we start.
I mean, you could, but I wouldn't really advise that.
Why?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, we gotta be better humans. Like I said.
No. But what I'm saying is also like not saying that they are dick, but more like saying
in a joke format, which is tough. That's the tough part, right? Like.
Well, if it's a joke format, you also have to make sure that they're on the same page as you are. That you're coming from a place of jocularity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're being humorous. You're being cheeky. They have to be on the same page as you are. If not, they just take it as an insult. So, like I said, it's basically just it goes back to just forming the rapport. Yeah. Be on the same plane as you as the other person. Like you can joke your friend, right? So once you get down on your side, you're already friends, right? You're at friend level, and you actually can joke about stuff. You can just call them out and say, "Hey, so all the time it seems like you're really hard about people, right? So." Don't you think that's a bit dickish? And I say, no lah. That's a friend kind of thing. Now They can explain to you
why they are
why that way, or maybe they're not that way, or maybe people has misapprehension about what they do and stuff like that. So it's basically just trying to create that relationship.
And in Esquire, you guys are able to pitch for your own interviews. Zoo got to say yes first, but you get to choose.
Yeah, we get a pitch. We got a pitch, but sometimes there are stories where they would say, "Oh, we got this guy coming to town. We need someone to write this. Would you like to write it?" Or something else.
What are some of the common themes, characteristics, or traits for people that you want to interview?
I think first and foremost, just interest. Whether I have a great interest in my subjects. Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson will be one of those. Like, oh my God, he's coming to Singapore, and I've given a chance to interview him. So that's just like it has to excite you, yes. And also people that they don't normally get interviewed. That's also exciting. That's great because you also want to find out more about this.
Yeah, like Schooling's dad, right?
Yeah. So Schooling's dad is like, he was interviewed once or twice before, but we don't really get to know in depth about his methods with his son or his relationship with his son. So we don't get to see the people behind Joseph Schooling.
Yeah. So basically people who are not usually interviewed and people who excite you.
Yeah, I think top of the list will be those two. I'm sure there are more. But
is there a dream list that one day you could interview these people, like top 3 or top person? Might be a dream list that might not happen, but at least one can only dream.
Top 3. Okay. First and foremost, I really would want to interview Stephen Lim.
Stephen Lim.
Stephen Lim, yes.
I think I can make that. We can make that happen.
Oh man, Stephen Lim. I know people will be like, why would you want to interview Stephen Lim? But I think he's somewhat fascinating as a character. Everybody think of him as the eyebrow plucker and the weirdo in the tiny yellows.
Maybe he has a different story.
Yeah, maybe he has a different story, right? We don't know this. Yeah. But I did try to ask him whether he's up for interview, but I think his reply was, "Oh, how much will I be paid?" Which is not the policy of any reporter. We don't pay people.
Does he go down on the list then after that?
When we told him that we don't, it's not a policy to actually pay subjects or interviewees. Then I think the the conversation cut short. So there was no response from him whatsoever. And I was like, oh man.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we can set up a Kickstarter fund to let.
No, I don't want to encourage this. I do not want to pay, because it's very dubious, right? If I got to pay you, then you're only telling me things I want to hear. Right? So, no, I can't.
Okay.
It should not be a practice.
Are there anyone else? Stephen Lim. Anywhere in the world, right? You know.
Fiona Xie.
Fiona Xie, she's back.
I know she's back. Well, I don't know if I say this will jeopardize whatever chances I have. No, but this is like.
She'll listen to this, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
The reach is so small.
MISFITS. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Actually, I did have some interest to interview her because she did went dark for a few years.
yeah, she went.
On her Instagram, it was just like a hipsterish photo of her doing art stuff.
Yeah, it's you want to find out like what initiated that turn. Like she went from this MediaCorp darling to every prepubescent boy's dream. And then after that, she went dark, and we don't know. And there's rumors circulating, swirling about it. After that, she and I still have contact of her via Instagram or social media, but you really do not know the entirety of the story. But I don't know, man. So we tried to ask her for interview, and there was a conversation going. And after that, again, she just stopped replying.
Okay.
And then I don't know. Like these two people are like my white whale.
Okay.
It's like those are my Moby Dicks. I'm trying to harpoon and claim.
Let's
make it happen for you.
No, we should have made
without
it.
without money.
Yeah, but now it's awkward.
Why? I mean, look.
Now they feel like, oh, now I'm doing this because he's going through this weird medium or channel just to. I don't know, man.
You want it. You make it happen. You know. I mean, don't be like half-hearted about that.
I'd rather be organic and stuff like that. Then I got a third guy, right?
I mean, this one's gonna be like far-fetched, you know. Like
I want to interview a minister.
Okay.
A local minister. That's it.
Which one?
Oh, could be Lee Hsien Loong. It could be, but it has to be somebody still in the cabinet. Now,
Regarded though.
Yeah, exactly. It's but Lee Hsien Loong will be a great person to interview.
Yeah.
It will be a great person to interview. But that will never happen because of all the red tape.
But you know what? It might be an interview that never get published, but you'll still be a hit.
Interview never. Oh, then why am I doing this?
But you did write it.
I did write it, but just.
So you want to interview and then you want to publish. Okay.
I mean, sure, a different aspect of the man himself, right?
Okay.
I was like, Lee Hsien Loong, out from his father's shadow, and now he's doing all this, but he's so
a burden behind.
Kind of, but he's very social media savvy. Like he takes more Instagram photo of himself than my dad.
Right, and me too.
Yeah, exactly. It's so fascinating just to see somebody who's doing that. It's just like, hey, I got this, and then put some inspirational quote on Facebook.
Actually, I do need to go stalk that guy's Instagram a bit more.
Yeah, he's yeah. So this the top three.
Okay.
In no particular order.
Yeah.
I just want to know. No, Lee Hsien Loong could be top. Who knows?
Who knows? Right. But should we make it happen for you?
What, you a genie?
I mean, look, I've gotten a few people on the show that some people would think is impossible, but one can only try.
Yes,
and we have the power of time on our end. We can try now, put the intention out, and then 10 years later,
we're immortals. We can live forever.
Yeah. Let's see if as my connection grow, we might even know some uncle or relative or cousin of this people.
Oh, hope springs eternal.
Hey, so let's do a left turn a little bit.
Ooh, is that an off-kilter question?
No, it's not actually. After you got all this sort of interview, right? You got a tape, got your recording.
Yeah.
What's the process looks like from recording to article?
Transcribing Usually I'll for my method, I would transcribe the entire thing. So because I'm a bit of a kanchong spider, so I don't want to miss out anything, right? So it might be even a pause, or maybe he says.
So you transcribe your own?
I use to transcribe my own, but that takes up a lot of time. So I had people to do it for me, but I still have I still go back to review the tape just to see what you mean by this. Once I transcribe, then I will. Usually at the same time, it's not in order, but usually at the same time, I'll try to formulate what the story is. Usually I have the story angle in mind before the interview, or it can be during
the interview or after.
Yeah. So then after I formulate, how am I going to write this piece? And then I just hammer away. And then and then after I just keep chipping away, try to make it into a coherent story, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Is there usually one angle or there's multiple angles?
I know sometimes I'll bite off more than I can chew. So sometimes I try to be ambitious with my story angles. Like you read Frank Sinatra as a Cole, right? That's classic. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful model of a story. And sometimes I try to be a little ambitious, but it sometimes just falls short. Or just like, oh damn it! Then I just try to, repair the damage or something like that.
Is there so now you get an angle. Is there an example we can pull out? Maybe let's do the SMRT vigilante or that. Okay, that's just a big piece too. So you have this angle, and you start finding information to piece together the story, facts with this angle that you want, right?
Yeah.
And then how does it flow? Do you move around things, or do you create?
Well, there's several drafts of it, but I think the main point is to actually just finish a piece.
Okay.
Just finish a piece because
usually it's longer because you cut it down.
Yeah. So once you finish a piece, then after that, usually you cut it down or you see what you can improve upon it. If you read it through over and over again, see whether there's a nice narrative.
What do you mean by this sort of nice narrative?
Well, it has to be a flow, right? Like I can't just read something and then after that it feels like there's a chunk missing in the middle, right? So you got to make sure that if you're reading this as a reader, do you get the story? Are you following the story, or are you losing the readers? Try to move with the story. So sometimes it could be just I think I did one format where I wrote out the story and then I mix it up. Then the readers can either go through it
chronologically, or
read it as it is, or they can just follow the jump up thing. And then that's another one which I did was I tried to write an alternate story of the subject, but then it got too confusing, right? Because the fear is that readers might see the alternate story, the fictive piece of the article, and think that it's actually real and attributed. So there's a lot of considerations to take when it comes to being ambitious.
The process usually for a piece of 8,000 words or feature.
Okay, so like
8,000 words or 8,000.
Well, 8,000 you die. No, seriously, 8,000 words is too many words.
Okay, so 4,000.
Man, there's one time I wrote about. Okay. Usually you try to make it manageable, so about 2-8. My process used to be write it out until you're done, which is something I was taught in journalism school. So you write out and then you stop. So you don't give any consideration to word count or anything like that. But then again, I tend to write a lot because I feel that everything is important. And after you got to whittle it down to make something that readers will want to read. So usually the first draft is you write for yourself. The second edit will be you write for your readers. Yeah, so on average it should be about 2K words.
Okay, how long does that,
2K words?
to article? you give yourself?
Usually be much shorter than the transcription. Transcription can be about 6,000 to 8,000 words.
No, but I mean the time.
Oh, time.
Yeah, needed.
Transcription, I got a very fast transcriber, so that person can do a turnaround rate for about over a weekend.
Okay.
And then I'll work on the story. So maybe about between a week to 2 weeks.
Okay.
Ish.
Yeah. And then you are solely working on that story.
Yeah, then working on a story. Yeah.
Cool.
So this question came out a lot with young writers when I just saw I throw the question out to people. The question is how to be inspired, to continue their writing. So maybe I'll have your take on that.
I just need to read. Just gotta read other interviews, read books, just to see the magic of language, and then develop our own voice. Always maintain an interest in the world, in the surrounding world. No matter how dull the subject is. I think you need to have and also you need to have a healthy skepticism. You can't always take things for face value.
How do you develop that?
Just always questioning. I mean, I don't recommend this for everybody, but I think given my line of occupation, I tend to be more cynical, which is it's not a very good trait to attain.
I'm an idealist.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. So sometimes when a small child passes me a flower, it's like, what's the catch?
But do you think that they should be inspired?
It's writing isn't for everybody, and the fact that you want to venture into this penniless field or industry, it's something to be awed at. They should be inspired. I mean, like with all other occupations, or you can be captains of your own industry.
Are there any questions you would pose for writers to know that they are meant for this industry? If, say, for example, a young college student who want to decide to do a degree in journalism, and then they'll come to you and say, hey, should I do it? What would you ask them to think about?
I won't ask them to think about it. Just tell them, don't do it.
Oh.
Don't do it. And if they refuse that, and they still do it, then I think maybe it's for you. Then again, don't listen to other people. Don't listen to other people. I mean, just think for yourself. I mean, if you write, and then make sure you know that when you're writing, it's not for monetary gains. I mean, that will come eventually. You just have to hone your craft, or hone whatever ability you have. Like now, this is all free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Soon.
Fingers crossed.
What are some common misconceptions about interns or potential interns when they want to join Esquire?
Oh boy. Interns, I don't know, man. Look, we've got some pretty good interns, but there's always like a few bad apples, right? A few anomalies that come in. I don't know. I think interns, when they come in, they think that it's like a Devil Wears Prada kind of a deal. It's like you come in, it's like, oh, my boss is so cool, but yet she's so distant. Maybe I can warm her cold, frigid heart by being my own bubbly self and be a go-getter, kind of stuff like that. But it's all this fantasy lah. That stupid movie ruined for the rest of our employees. I think interns should come into the workforce or knowing that they have to work, right? Of course, there's some companies that they will get interns to be gophers. It's like, go get me coffee, go get me newspaper, do stuff, and so they don't learn anything. anybody comes into our company, I want them to learn or at least take away something that they can use in future endeavors. Interns that come in, usually we have them try to do a story, work on a story, so they have something in the CV, right? Because usually when any other magazines out there, they were choosing to hire, I'll look at the body of work. What have you done, right? I don't usually look at your credentials, like where you come from, where your alma mater is. You know, if you have journalism school in your credit, great, fantastic. But you know, got to see your writing. And also, you just have to need to have a good attitude. You just can't come in here and this thing. Like interns, they will come in and then they will do the work and then that's it. You know, they don't have the initiative to say, oh, is there anything else I can do? Kind of thing. Oh, good. Oh, I have a story. Maybe can think about this. You know, stuff like that. I mean, basically, people just want to get cost credit, which I don't know, man. That's not a way.
What was the biggest horror face that you made someone?
I had this one.
Cry?
No, they don't cry, but you can see that they're not. They know in their heart of hearts that they're not going to get an internship. They're not.
Okay.
I think the one I got was someone came in and then she has no concept of what we do.
Uh-huh.
No concept.
No concept.
Just come in here and say, oh, I like to intern for your magazine. Cool. Have you read Esquire before? Oh, no, I haven't read Esquire. Oh, what interests do you have? What interests do you have? Oh, I like women's fashion. And women's fashion? Why do you at least like to read? Oh, no, I don't like to read. It's like, you are completely wrong for the industry.
Right. How did you then
kindly exit yourself out?
No, basically, you know how when you tell your father that you want to go into the art stream and then he gives this little disappointment, I just channel that.
Channel energy.
Yeah, so that little disappointment is just enough to just oh. But it's just but I'm talking about just a few, maybe one or two people.
But makes a day too, you just.
I feel
it becomes a talking point for the day.
No. I mean, interns. I think it's very brave of people to actually come into a situation that they have no idea just to be interviewed for a job. But there's only the few people that just come in just oh my God, what are you doing? Just be smart. Just be smart.
Yeah.
I guess now that we're on the note of writers and writing, what makes a good writer and a great writer? Difference.
Good writer and great writer. It's a bit of a weird question to ask. As in, it's not really.
I mean, in terms of your work in your circle, which is journalism.
Okay, personally, I think that good writing and great writing, the difference is whether you're able to have that voice in the article itself. I mean, basically, your job as a journalist is to report, right? Report what has happened. So you got the information out there: who, what, why, how. You got it on the page, great. You got the information. But I think the greatness comes in how you deliver it, right? Like Frank Sinatra has a quote. I'll go back to it because it's a seminal piece of writing. You got your information. Okay, some lesser writer will write about Frank Sinatra. They say, okay, he did this, da 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 da. But it's delivered to you in that format. Who he is, where he come from, stuff. But Frank Sinatra as a whole, it's a story of Frank Sinatra without interviewing Frank Sinatra. You know who he is through all the color of the story. So and it's delivered to you in something engaging, something interesting, something that you want to read more about, right? At the end of it, you're like, wow, I feel so moved by what I've read, kind of thing. I think that's what makes and that's the voice, right? And that's the hook, the in that writing that would just draw you in.
And if you were to go back to your younger self when you first started writing, what would you tell that person, that young girl?
Don't use big words. Sounds pretentious.
Like pretentious.
I don't know, man. It's just like, yeah, pretentious or like, I don't know. I like words, but I can't use big words often. I can't use discombobulated. I can't use Schadenfreude, stuff like that. I can't use that as often as I like, because sometimes the key to getting your message across is to keep it simple. Right? Because you use big words, sometimes it can draw attention away from the story. So I'll tell my younger self to be more, to not use big words like it's going on, like it's on sale. Right?
So Japan. I sort of told you everything already. What mass experience should I do?
Japan.
Yeah. I'm going to be landing in Tokyo, so...
I don't know, man. Just take in the lay of the land. Just go food places. You like food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can only recommend
Maybe 3 things that I must experience. What would your 3 things be?
When you going again?
Going in May, and so it's like summer, start of summer. And this is like can be anywhere, like Tokyo or whatever. But I'll be landing and flying out of Tokyo, so.
I suggest you go to one of those like restaurants in a neighborhood. Like go to those places. Those places are pretty interesting because it doesn't look like a restaurant on the outside. The facade doesn't look like a restaurant. It just looks like a normal residential area. And then when you go inside, it's like a restaurant. It's like there's people running to and fro, wait stuff, people eating, and it's just very. It's I wouldn't say disconcerting, but it's refreshing to see a concept like this turn on its head.
Okay.
So go to one of those. I can't recommend you one restaurant per se.
What about anything specific? Is there anything specific?
I think People Watch.
Okay.
People Watch would be great just to see how other people live, or communicate, or just commute to work or wherever they're going to. Great place to be if you go to Shibuya, the crossing. I mean, everybody goes there, right? But to see people just the ocean of humanity just try to get from one side to the other, and you see them and you wonder, and you can see them at the side, right, at a crosswalk or maybe on the sidewalk. They're taking pictures as well. You can see buskers playing music, singing, people doing charity work, asking for donations, raising awareness. You can see tourists. Oh my God, you can immediately spot the tourists, and that's a great game to play. Like, who are the tourists in here? You can see people taking pictures of it because it's so, I don't know, it's
diverse.
Yeah, so diverse. There's this swell of humanity just congregated in one spot.
And how should I just go on the top and do a bird eye view?
You could go on the top. You can go to the side. You can be in the ocean of people.
I guess all of that.
You can do all that, but it's very interesting just to be in the midst of it.
So I also have like Studio Ghibli on my list.
That's great, man.
And then my friend recommended to go to check out Blue.
Okay.
What's the fashion? That's the second-hand place.
Ragtag.
Ragtag. How is that?
RAGTAG, one word. Ragtag.
And it's an era?
There's several of these outlets sprinkled around. That's the more commercial second-hand store. And then other places like Second City and Kindle, also like second-hand places.
But they're not like Salvation Army.
No, they're basically people who bring their clothes, sell it, and then the store would, sell it back to.
So Ragtag, Kindle, and
KINDAL, and then Second City.
Second City.
And then you can go to places like Shimanotesawa. I could be pronouncing. Yeah, I could be pronouncing it wrong.
Right,
Probably am. Is this area where they sell a lot of vintage stuff?
Oh.
Yeah. So
Shimanotesawa.
yeah.
I mean, if I were to go to Shimanotesawa's vintage stuff,
favorite fun.
Google will correct that.
No, I love to check out like old secondhand shops because you know it's you can firstly get cheaper stuff, and then people there are generally more chill and relaxed. And it's not a chichi vibe. So I like it. I go. Actually, in fact, when I was in China, I go to the secondhand store just to buy a winter coat because I'm now going up to Shangri-La. So I never travel with something heavy. So when I need, I just go secondhand store, buy, and then finish. Either chuck it, give it to someone, or bring it back. Yeah. Okay. And anything else? Japan that
Ride the subway.
Okay. Well, for sure.
Yeah, you just ride the subway and then try not to speak or talk. No, as in like when you go there, you just try to pretend that you're one of the locals, right? It's
by not speaking, you don't expose yourself.
Kind of, yeah.
So you just pretend you're deaf. No, mute. Sorry.
Mute, yeah. Just pretend you're mute. Just go with the flow, right? Until they ask you a question, then the jig is up.
Hi. And also on the note of just this left and again on fashion, before you were quite the graphic tee and jeans kind of guy, and now you're more sartorial, as some would describe it. But the question actually is, what does fashion sort of mean to you in your current season of life?
Fashion?
Yeah.
Man, wear what you want, man.
I mean...
Just wear what you want. I mean, I'm sure that people like... I mean, I have bugbears against people wearing sandals in the city. I don't really think it's appropriate. Or, I mean, just wear something that's appropriate for the occasion. And wear what you want. Yeah, so the first rule has to supersede the second rule. Wear what you want, but make sure it's for the occasion.
And for you, it's more like just to showcase your personality, or...
Yeah, I mean, when you wear what you want, it's you, right? It's yourself, it's your personality. And people who are poo-pooing against that, it's just like, don't tell me what to do, kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. I want to dive into a little bit the topic about introversion. Will you say they are introvert?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And how do you manage this mandatory social situation while working for a magazine? Because then you...
Well, I mean, usually when I do interviews, will be one-on-one or in a group setting, and it's not long. So for me, I just put my game face on, get it done, make small talk, and then I just leave, kind of thing.
Okay.
But I mean, during interview, when I get comfortable with the subject, so it's also me getting comfortable with the interviewee, right?
Yeah.
That I don't feel like I need to run off, kind of thing. So, I mean, you just have to suck it up, lah.
And then, I mean, how does it make you feel? Is it just like uncomfortable, or is it just tired, or?
After a while, you get a bit like mentally waned, because you spending a lot of time like internal thinking about like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Is what I'm saying correct? There's a lot of like noise in the head, kind of thing when you're dealing with social situations. Because you're always concerned about how things going to happen, right? Yeah. So people like you make small talk, and people like, and after that it's like, oh no, what you're saying is dumb, stop it, kind of thing. So it's it's like a power struggle in your head within you yourself.
Wow. But also that, then you perform stand-up pretty regularly. I mean on a regular pace these days. And that means putting out yourself and your work to a live audience and dealing with some high stress situation. So I mean, of course you find it uncomfortable, but I mean, then the question would be like, why do you do that?
I don't know. I just have jokes that I can use in normal context, and I think it worked well in a comedy setting. And when I go on stage, usually it's just a persona, like it's a shell version of who I am. And then I go on stage, and then I do my thing, and I just walk off stage. So basically, it's just okay. They work, just it's just a facsimile of who I am.
And then is there some inner self-talk that you do before you get on stage?
Always lah. I mean,
what is the inner dialogue that usually goes through?
Basically, a lot of like, why are you doing this? Don't do it. Why? Yeah, it's not funny. A lot of that lah. Then but the only way for you to get better is to actually go through this uncomfortable paces, right?
Do you feel that you get better?
No. No, I think what I do, like in terms of sense of humor, is just very niche. I guess comedians like it. Like the comics I know, they like it. The audience not so much. But I do it because I got all this ideas and scenarios in mind that it's a shame if I don't get it out. So.
And so mainly your enjoyment comes from you just putting forth the stuff that has been building up.
Yeah, like lines just like punchlines or funny things to write about.
Cool. Shall we jump into rapid fire questions?
No, there's rapid fire questions.
What are some books that you have given notes as a gift? All books.
Yeah, given the people as a gift.
Yeah. Or you don't then?
I gave someone Arkham Asylum, like a graphic novel.
Okay.
I gave as a graphic novel.
How do I spell it? Arkham.
ARKHAM, one word, Asylum, ASYLUM. It's actually written by Grant Morrison, illustrated by Dave McKean. And basically it's just Arkham Asylum, a house on a serious house on a serious hill.
Wow.
Serious, like serious. Which I gave it to somebody, and I think it was I thought that person would like it, but I don't think the person has read it yet. But that book was pretty interesting to me as I read. I didn't think that graphic novels could be this way. Because there's a lot of there's layers upon layers upon layers kind of thing. So when someone said this and you look it up, it's like, what does it mean by this illusion? It's always it means this and so on and so forth. So there's always like there's motifs, metaphors embedded within the graphic novel. I didn't know graphic novels, comic books could be that way until when I read that.
Are there any favorite documentaries or movies?
Yeah. I really like Exit Through the Gift Shop. Yeah, that was pretty good because it's very meta, right? Is this a prank? Is this not a prank kind of thing? Another one which I really like is The Act of Killing.
Ooh.
Yeah, by Oppenheimer. I think he interviewed this group of people who committed genocide, and then asked them to reenact the genocide that they did. And through that reenaction, they actually put themselves in the shoes of the victims, because before that they're rather proud of what they do, because even killing a lot of people, innocent people, because they think they're doing good.
Yeah.
So that was, and the fact that he managed to get these people to do this, it just blows my mind. So that was just fascinating.
Act of Killing and Execution. Are there any underrated comedians that deserve more recognition?
More recognition?
Yeah. Here, Singapore, or in the world?
Oh yeah. Locally, I think there's this guy called Jackie.
Oh, okay.
Jackie, and I like his comedy.
Where can I find online him YouTube somewhere?
You can. I'm not sure if he's online though, but you can find him on the open mic scene. But he's very. It's like he looks harmless, and he comes across harmless, and that's good, because when when he ever tells like because you feel like you're rooting for him, you're on his side.
Right.
So when he tells a joke, you're more willing to laugh. And he's very he has this demeanor that makes you adheres you to him.
Oh, Jackie. Okay. Anyone else that comes to mind?
Locally,
Jackie it is.
there's also Stephanie Dogfood. Hers is like more of storytelling.
Stephanie Dogfood.
Dogfood, that's a stage name, but she does.
So dog and then food.
Yeah, dog and food.
Okay.
She's actually a poet. She's like a spoken word poet, but she does the open mic scene like on the side as well, and the way she tells her jokes is like very story oriented, which is so good to see because she engages you with the story.
What is the worst advice you have seen or hear being dispensed in your world?
Oh. I think the worst one was, it is what it is. Like if something bad happens or something is out of control and say, well, it is what it is. And I feel like that's just it's a very flippant way of giving up or just like washing your hands off a matter kind of thing. Like, it is what it is. And then it's very pithy kind of a saying. I don't know. I don't like that. It's as though like, this statement is explains everything there's to know. It's like, why did my dad get cancer? Oh, it is what it is. It's like, no, man. I don't like things like that are neatly tied up because they usually aren't. Yeah.
And I think that's a lazy way of tying it up too.
I mean, it's just basically just saying like, que sera, sera, stuff like that. That's why it's not in a song.
Any advice for your 20-year-old and 28-year-old self, and please us where you're at?
Advice, don't screw around. I think I'm a bit of a time waster, procrastinator. Just seize the day, grab life by the cojones, do something.
How will you tell that 20-year-old self that? Convince him to?
I invent a time machine, go back in time, and scream in his face. Then get back in the time machine, come back here. Yeah, and then most probably we'll be having this conversation because I probably get my act in order.
What were you doing when you were 20?
I think I was in private school or like MDIS because I couldn't get into a regular poly.
And 28, if there's anything? Or the same age?
28, I think I was in... I could be still in US. I can't be sure. Maybe in US, I think same advice. Yeah, same advice.
Okay. When you think of the word successful, who came into your mind and why?
Honestly, my parents. I mean, they're not like rich or anything. Well, we're not rich by any means, but they're successful in how they actually brought us up. I'm pretty sure we are a handful, a bunch of. I mean, they should have just abandoned us a long time ago. Seriously, I think I was a pretty terrible child. But I think they're successful in a way that I did not deviate. I didn't go to jail. I didn't embarrass them. So I think they're pretty successful in that. And they're pretty chill parents. They like do what you like. Just don't make sure it's not illegal. So yeah, I think their success in seeing their kids be having their own personal successes as well.
what are some of the most common misconceptions about you or your work?
Oh, like writers, like people think writing is, oh, I can do writing, which I really, I really despise that kind of thinking. Like in the industry, people think that writers are a dime and a dozen, and they don't pay them, which is I want to pay people for their writing, right? Even though like personally, I want to pay them. And some companies, they would see writing as something as an aside. Like if that writing isn't important, but it is. It is what makes up the content of your magazine or whatever website you have. You need writers. You need good writers. And then they don't pay writers. They say, oh no, you get exposure. And it's like no. There is this famous phrase from Goodfellas. It's like, fuck you, pay me. That's it. I did this job, and depending on what you think of my talents, I still need to be paid for the work I've done. And this doesn't pertain to writers. This pertains to people in the workforce. I mean, I don't know why they have to marginalize people in the art industry, designers or writers, because they're not doing something like doctors or lawyers. No, pay me for my work. So Look, if it's so simple for you to write, you'll be doing it instead of hiring people. I have this is...
Are there any asks or requests for the audience? Any last parting words, thoughts to take away, consider and try?
Should I address the camera? That camera?
It might be a podcast, so it might be just audio.
Okay, well, I'm just going to stare at this camera anyway.
Sure.
And then the podcast will just hear my voice. Don't listen to me like wholeheartedly. I'm just one guy, and this works for me in my experience. I mean, it might help you, it might not help you, but find your own path. Don't take my word at face value. The skepticism come in, so think for yourself. And if you still want to be a writer, then I'll see you as peers eventually. But yeah, I feel that just do what you need to do to actually get to where you need to be. Because life is just like a candle blowing in the wind. Quite the Elton John song. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the matter.
Are there any upcoming projects that people can look forward to?
No. Well, I mean, that's the magazine. I write this kick-ass magazine called Esquire. And also, I don't know. I think for now, I just look forward to that.
Okay. Where can people find you or your project on the internet? Or can they find it all?
No man. I tend to be skittish about putting out my own work. I'm sure that other people, I'm sure my company put up like PDFs or whatnot. That's their prerogative, but I don't know, man. I'm not saying. You just have to. If you find it, you find it, lah.
Okay. We're done.
Yeah.